It's been nearly 24 hours since the polls closed, and several key races across the country are still undecided at this hour.
The balance of power in Congress yet to be determined tonight, as the evenly split Senate will be very close yet again. Republicans right now hold a 49-48 advantage, with 3 races yet to be determined in Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona. Republicans need 51 seats to take the majority. Democrats need 50 by virtue of the tiebreak. It could once again hinge on Georgia, which appears to be headed for a December runoff election between Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker.
We're in a fight, are we not? And we're here to win this election, are we not?
Whether it's later tonight or tomorrow or 4 weeks from now, we will hear from the people of Georgia.
Now, in the House, there are still several races that are too close to call. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy expects he'll take the Speaker's gavel when all is said and done. Democrats are hopeful to hang on to the Capitol.
The American people are ready for a majority that will offer a new direction, that will put America back on track. Republicans are ready to deliver it.
And if we fall a little short, we're going to know that we gave it our all and we beat the spread.
Now, results in some districts could be days or even weeks away as votes are tabulated.
Now, here in Ohio, the big news last night were, of course, the gubernatorial and Senate races, which both went to the Republican Party. J.D. Vance beat out the Democratic candidate, Tim Ryan, with more than 2 million votes cast for him during the midterms. And Governor Mike DeWine is going to remain in office for another 4 years after beating out Democratic candidate Nan Whaley. But tonight, some local issues are still too close to call. Ballots in both Montgomery and Greene counties are still being counted at this hour. Mamie Baugh joins us live from Beaver Creek tonight. And Mamie, what's the holdup with the 2 levies on the ballot?
Well, the street levy is still up in the air. 50% voted for and another 50 voted against. Now, the Greene County Board of Elections tells me that at this time, at least 1,000 provisional ballots are being reviewed and 1,400 absentee ballots are outstanding. So it's really up in the air at this time. Now, when it comes to the police levy, we know at this time that did not pass.
I'm a little disappointed that the police levy did not go as I'd hoped. Beaver Creek has always stretched the dollar about as far as anybody can stretch it. And right now we're at a point with the police department that we're at a point where the dollar has been stretched as far as it can go.
So, Mamie, what does this mean for the future of the police department?
Well, the city planned on using that money, if the levy passed, to hire more personnel and also for a new police department. I'm told that this building is about 60 years old. It has 2 floors when it should be 1, and there isn't even enough space. You can't even fit a full-size hangar in the lockers. Now, the city tells me in the next few weeks, along with the council, the police department, and public, it will decide what will happen next. I'm also told that next week, Wednesday, and at the end of the month, on the 31st, there will be a meeting to discuss the next steps and where the city will go from here. Now, coming up at 6:30, we're tracking races in other places where ballots are still being counted. What that means. Back to you.
Mamie, thanks so much. Right now, bipartisanship is not on the minds of Ohio Democrats. They're wondering if their current leaders' careers may be short-lived. Our Tom Bosco heard from top Democrats today.
State Democratic Party definitely licking its wounds today, trying to figure out what happened yesterday and in the campaigns that preceded yesterday's election day. Democrats, of course, shut out of all statewide offices and also seeing losses in the state house. The chairwoman of the Ohio Democrats says they were outspent by the Republicans, and they also blame gerrymandering for some of their losses. Liz Walters, though, says the top priority now is to get U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown reelected. She says he has beaten Republicans before.
Just ask Mike DeWine, Jim Renacci, and Josh Mandel, 3 Republicans who have never lost a general election race in Ohio except to Sherrod.
Walters, of course, recognizes that with Republicans now in charge not only of the State House but of the Ohio Supreme Court, getting changes to the redistricting process will be harder to happen, and that will hamper Democrats moving forward. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. Now take out your phone and scan this QR code up on your screen. That's going to take you to the Beyond the Podium section of our website, Dayton247now.com. That's where you're going to find all the election results and all our coverage in one place. And you can catch up on the results through our Dayton 24/7 Now app as well. With that app, you can get breaking news alerts sent right to your phone. You can download the app for free in our Google Play and Apple app stores.
Well, here's a look across parts of Dayton from earlier today. Temperatures reaching the 70s. So let's go to Natalie and see how much longer we can expect that warm weather to last. Natalie?
We got about one more day of the very warm weather across the area. Here's a look at what's going on currently. It's mild still. Now that the sun has set, of course, temperatures are starting to fall. 63 in Dayton, 65 in Troy, 68 in Sydney at this hour. Cool spot in Richmond sitting at 57. Looking pretty good, though, overall. Still much warmer than we were at this time yesterday. And yesterday was even a nice day. 12 degrees warmer in Dayton compared to this time yesterday. 13 degrees warmer in Springfield. And it's not going to be as cool tonight either. We'll drop into the upper 30s, mid 40s even across the area. Overall, chilly night is expected. But coming up, I am talking about the rest of the week's forecast because we are talking about Nicole as well as a big cold blast. I'll let you know how cold we'll get in a bit.
Natalie, thanks. The Montgomery County Clerk of Court's office, a scene of a search warrant execution this afternoon. Now, according to the state auditor's office, the Special Investigation Unit received information that caused them to launch this investigation. So far, the auditor's office hasn't elaborated on what caused them to investigate. However, the attorney for the county clerk, Mike Foley, says that a request for documents was made following concerns from an employee. We asked the Montgomery County prosecutor about this investigation. He says his office was unaware of it until today and has not been contacted so far.
As you know, we are by statute the attorney for the clerk of courts. Again, we have not been contacted. Obviously, if there is a crime that's been committed or a criminal matter, we would not represent them.
Now, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office also provided this statement saying, quote, Sheriff's Office deputies were present with the state auditor as they conducted an investigation. MCSO only provided security since it is a county building. Any additional questions would have to defer to them. We're going to continue to follow this story for you. And as we learn anything new, we'll update you here on air and online at Dayton247now.com.
Voters in Kentucky have rejected a measure that would have amended the state's constitution to make abortion illegal. Kentucky already has a near total ban on abortion, which went into effect after Roe v. Wade was overturned. Kentucky's Supreme Court set to hear challenges to that ban. National polls show about 2/3 of voters say abortion should be legal in most or all cases. And the Ohio Supreme Court will remain conservative, voters electing 3 Republicans to the bench to keep the 4-3 red majority. But as David Winter reports, the court is about to lean a bit further right.
This is the current makeup of the Ohio Supreme Court. 3 justices on the left who are Democrats, 3 justices on the right who are Republicans, and a Republican Chief Justice who sometimes sides with the left, sometimes side with the right, but she is retiring. And in her place, Justice Kennedy, who was just elected as Chief Justice. And then taking her place will be an appointee by Governor DeWine, who will no doubt be a Republican.
We're deeply concerned about what could happen when we get to the state Supreme Court. That said, the court has not really changed. The partisan makeup remains the same.
It's encouraging as Ohio Right to Life to know that we have justices on the bench that aren't going to be abortion activists, but are just going to read the Ohio Constitution and see that there's very clearly not a right to an abortion.
But as we know, courts don't always decide how we think they might, so we're going to have to wait to see if this court will be as conservative as some Republicans hope or pleasantly surprise some Democrats. This is David Winter reporting.
The newly elected court is going to be sworn in January.
President Biden addressing last night's midterm elections that saw the Republican Party take over some seats in both the House and the Senate. He says he's ready to get to work with whatever party has the majority.
Regardless of what the final tally in these elections show, and there's still some counting going on, I'm prepared to work with my Republican colleagues. The American people have made clear, I think, that they expect Republicans to be prepared to work with me as well.
The president went on to say he's willing to compromise on some issues, though he will not side with anything looking for a total ban on abortion, Social Security, or Medicare.
Now, several of former President Trump's handpicked candidates lost last night. Mehmet Oz and Doug Mastriano are just 2 examples. Both Republicans lost to their Democratic opponents in Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis won re-election decisively. That prompted some conservative leaders to question Trump's staying power.
And he will almost certainly become the rallying point for everybody in the Republican Party who wants to move beyond President Trump. I think DeSantis is the biggest single winner of the night, and that's going to resonate across the whole country.
Now, there were some Trump picks that did win, namely J.D. Vance, who defeated Congressman Tim Ryan here in Ohio. And in Ohio Monday, Trump says he plans on a big announcement next week. Many believe it will involve his plans for 2024. A former House Speaker is set to testify in front of a special grand jury investigating the 2020 presidential election. Megan's following us from the Now Desk. What are we talking about here?
Well, Adam, we actually just heard from him, Newt Gingrich, but he's not going to be testifying willingly. Earlier today, a judge in Virginia ordered him to appear in front of that special grand jury on November 29th in Atlanta. Prosecutors are trying to prove that there was an attempt to overturn the Georgia results in favor of former President Trump. An attorney for Gingrich, though, says that they are likely going to appeal. Prosecutors say they want to question Gingrich about what role he may have played in Trump's campaign following the election. That includes what they say was a plan to send fake electorate certificates to the National Archives.
Miami Township Police releasing new information on skeletal remains that were found last week. The remains have been identified as 59-year-old David Tackett, who went missing in September of 2020. His family has been notified. Officers responded to the northern part of the township Friday regarding skeletal remains found in the woods.
Well, the Springfield community celebrating a groundbreaking today at the future site of a new fire station. It's going to be on South Limestone Street and will be the first of 4 new stations there in the city. Springfield is replacing the outdated existing buildings, which city leaders say are too small as the division's mission has grown over the years. It's being built now in partnership with Clark State College.
News of Russia pulling forces out of a key port city, not fazing the president of Ukraine. Why he thinks this could be a trap.
And Hurricane Nicole is now heading towards Florida when residents can expect it to make landfall.
And the impacts right here in the Miami Valley, we're going to be tracking some rain and colder air that's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A fantastic time-lapse showing the clouds moving over Oregon's coastal range. The ensuing sunset turned the sky a bright orange. This Chinese pistache tree is showing its fall colors in El Paso. Can't say the same for the neighboring palm tree. And Mother Nature put on a show in the Las Vegas area. Viewers contributed many shots of rainbows decorating the sky.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
Live pictures tonight from Brevard County, Florida. This as the state is now preparing for the wrath of Nicole, which recently strengthened into a Category 1 hurricane. The storm is already causing a surge on Florida's Atlantic coast. Hurricane conditions are expected to begin this evening. Newly re-elected Governor Ron DeSantis wants Floridians to be prepared.
Winds are the main concern with Nicole, but we also expect to see some heavy rains, the potential for flash flooding, and 3 to 5 feet of storm surge in some areas.
Nicole made landfall in the northwestern Bahamas as a tropical storm just before noon. It's expected to turn toward the Florida Panhandle and then weaken as it moves north over Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia.
And we're going to be seeing some impacts right here in the Miami Valley from Nicole. Again, just recently became a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 75 miles per hour, so is expected to make landfall as a Category 1 storm. Now, as it weakens, it does turn off to the north and the east, and we're going to be seeing some rainfall here. In fact, could see some substantial rainfall for parts of the area. So moving through time, we stay quiet, mild tomorrow, 70s. We'll start to see cloud cover increase. We have our strong cold front that will be moving through, and then we're also going to be tracking Nicole. Now heading into early Friday morning, we do start to see rain building in. Could see some heavier areas of rain as well. Lesser totals to the northwest. Heaviest of totals will be to our southeast. And then that will eventually head out by Friday evening with that much colder air settling in. How much rain we're expecting coming up in a bit.
Natalie, thanks. Russian military leaders say they're pulling out of a key port city, Kherson. That would be one of the most significant and humiliating setbacks for Moscow. But Ukraine's president is not buying it.
So they're ready to defend this region, and they're not ready to leave the city. And the fact that they are in these homes means that they are seriously preparing. But we are also seriously prepared for these developments.
Now, he warns it could be a ploy to lure the Ukrainian army into a fierce battle. An advisor says they've seen no signs of Russia leaving without a fight. Kherson is one of the 4 regions Russia illegally annexed. It's the only regional capital Russian forces captured since the start of the invasion. Well, Brittany Griner is now being held in a penal colony in Russia. Megan's at the Now Desk. So what does this mean as far as efforts to bring her back home?
Well, unfortunately, Adam, U.S. leaders say they're still working to bring the WNBA star home, but this does appear to be another setback. According to her legal team, Griner was transferred from a detention center on the 4th, but they don't even know her exact location now. This comes after a Russian court rejected Griner's appeal of the 9-year sentence she received just last month for drug possession. Griner admitted that she accidentally put cannabis oil in her luggage, which police found at a Moscow airport.
A story now from our partners at the Dayton Business Journal. The auction for the property once occupied by a nonprofit group near downtown Dayton is back on after being put on hold last month. The building at 184 Salem Avenue was once a United Way building and later Richard Allen Academy. Now, the auction set for November 17th. The city was ready to purchase that property but then pulled out of that idea. The auction will go on unless someone buys the property beforehand. If you'd like to read more about the auction, you can go to Dayton247now.com. You can find that story and others like it under the Dayton Business Journal heading in the News tab.
All right, a live look now from our Kettering Health Skycam. A picture-perfect day here in the Miami Valley, but that's not going to be the story for much longer. Natalie is tracking our next weather maker from our exclusive Watson's Weather Patio tonight. Natalie.
Yeah, some big changes on the way, but enjoy the warmer weather while it's here. Beautiful evening across the area, a dry evening. Tomorrow, another dry day, but I talked about that rain. Got a lot of it in the forecast. So we are over 4 inches below normal for the season. We've seen just a little bit over 3 inches of rain since September 1st. But good news is that it's looking more likely that we'll see some rain on Friday. Now, there's going to be a pretty sharp cutoff as to where the heaviest of that precipitation is going to be, but it does look like we could see some pretty high totals for our southeastern counties. Lesser totals off to the northwest. So we're going to monitor this very closely. Either way, plan on keeping that umbrella handy for our Friday.
Natalie, thanks. The local coffee shop and bakery is expanding. Coffee Hub, now open in Centerville, is not only serving up coffee and treats, but opportunity too. Good Day Dayton's host, Tej Joshi, joins us to explain what that opportunity is.
We are inside a new coffee shop that just opened off 48 in Centerville. This is Coffee Hub, and Coffee Hub has several locations across the Miami Valley. This is Coffee Hub Centerville, to be exact. They put together lots of great coffee here. This is their pumpkin spice latte that I've been smelling all day. Really delicious stuff. And right behind me, this is where they make all the coffee. And what's cool about this location is that they also do food. They've been making sandwiches, they're getting some salads put together. Lots of great stuff here. You can look at them put that delicious coffee together right in front of your eyes. But what I think is especially interesting about Coffee Hub Centerville and really the whole Coffee Hub team is that they are a second chance employer for women who have felonies or have been in addiction and are now in recovery. They help them get back on their feet and help them find other jobs. A really cool place with really good smelling, really good tasting coffee. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thanks, Tage. The Dayton Dragons are asking for help from the community tonight. How you can be a part of the next Greene team.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Well, the Dayton Dragons need your help. Nathan Edwards shows us how you can be a part of next season's Greene team.
Do you have what it takes to be a member of the Dayton Dragons Greene team? Well, all it takes really is some enthusiasm, some spirit, and of course, a love for the Dayton Dragons. Right now is your opportunity to try out to be a member of the Greene team. It's super easy to do. So all you gotta do is make a fun little introduction video, kind of like this, submit your resume and the video to the Dayton Dragons by December 16th. Now, to be eligible to be a member of the Greene team, all you gotta do is be 16 by the 1st of next year. You also have to be willing to get up and enjoy your job in front of thousands of screaming fans. So get out here, submit your video, and hopefully we'll see you next year when the season starts in the spring.
Kind of feeling like a beautiful day for baseball right now, but that is about to change because we do have a big chill arriving for pretty much the entire United States. We're talking about well below normal temperatures. We'll have a cold front arriving on Friday, and then by the weekend, well below normal temperatures, lows dropping into the 30s and even upper 20s, mid 20s possible by this weekend. And we're going to stay in the 30s and 40s for quite a while too once we do get past these mild days. So we get up to 60 on Friday. That's with rain, and then notice Saturday, Sunday, Monday, highs only in the lower 40s, upper 30s, and that trend continues into next week. In fact, check out Tuesday. I have a chance for some rain and snow in the forecast. It's still several days away, so things can change, but as of right now, it does look like we'll see a storm system, and then with that cold air in place, it's just something that we're going to have to be looking out for pretty closely.
There's never a gradual change in Ohio with weather. It's always just like that.
Yeah, you know when it's 70 in November that it's not going to last.
It's going to be a hard quarter.
Right, exactly.
Man, that is rough. All right, Natalie, thanks, and thanks for being with us tonight. Remember, you can always connect with us on social media. We are headed over to Fox 45 next. We hope you join us there. Good night.